Welcome back to Fit Survive channel. So a couple of months ago, I reviewed the TiSpanner 2.0 from TiSpanner, and it is now back. It's bigger and it's better. So anyways, this is gonna be very similar to the TiSpanner 2.0. A lot of the functions are similar. They've also added a bunch of upgrades I'll be showing you guys today, kind of comparing the two together. Now, if you've not seen the TiSpanner before, let me do a very short summary, especially if you don't have patience to watch the whole video. So this basically is a multi-tool, titanium here. It's got a crescent wrench that also doubles as a caliper. You have that in centimeters, in inches, and on the back you even have, you can measure the head size on nuts. After that, it also has a screwdriver in the back that holds a bit. You have a nail puller here in the front, so for small nails or for staples, things like that. Also has a bottle opener on the back. Now after that, you have a diamond file for all of your grooming needs right there. It also doubles as a knife sharpener. I'll talk more about that later, of course. It also has a glass breaker. We have this fully closed, a tungsten tip here on the back. Get out of a car if you're in an accident and so on. Also doubles as a phone holder. Again, I'll be displaying that a bit later. And of course, last but not least, it is a fidget toy. So something you can mess with in your pocket, in your hand, kind of like a little worry coin or anything along that lines. All right, so getting to a bit more into detail. So naturally, it's bigger. It's going to be a bit heavier. This now weighs 46 grams. Again, as I said, it's titanium. The TiSpanner 2.0 is 25 grams. It goes already now where the TiSpanner 2.0 was maybe a good size for a keychain tool, whereas the TiSpanner 3.0, I think it's a bit large for a keychain tool. I don't know. Some people might still carry this on a keychain, but I think it's now getting a bit to the next category there. Of course, this is now a lot more practical with the TiSpanner 2.0. Once you got this open, we got it onto, like, say, a bolt or something like that, you only had about 2 fingers worth of torque. I don't know if that's even a term. But on the TiSpanner 3.0, now you have, I'd say, easily 3, almost 4 fingers you can get on this. That, of course, lets you get a lot more leverage when you are tightening something or loosening something. And so, of course, that makes it a lot more practical. Naturally, also, the caliper is going to be larger. It now has 5 centimeters as the maximum size, which is 2 inches. Whereas this was 3.5 centimeters, which is only 1.38 inches. And so naturally being larger, you get a lot more function out of it. Again, this, like I said, is good for keychain size, but I don't know, it's not so much practical. I definitely think the TiSpanner 3.0 is a lot more practical. So we're going to go back through all the tools and I'll explain them all a bit more. So the crescent wrench, I really like how it locks into place. So once you clamp down onto something, it doesn't loosen up by itself. It actually holds like nice and tight. Like I put up my finger, it's not going to loosen up the pressure on it. And so that's great whenever you're trying to get a good grip onto something. You can basically tighten it down, not to worry about it slowly loosening up over time. Let's see, so other than that, that's basically it for the crescent wrench. Of course, on the back, you have the bottle opener. So basically you just snag the cap of the bottle, get some leverage that way. Bottle opener. Apparently everybody thinks a multi-tool has to have a bottle opener. I'm not sure why that is. So also on the front here, you have the nail puller that I mentioned. So they have a bit of an upgrade over the TiSpanner 2.0. Let's get this open, you can see a bit better. All right, so let's see, maybe arrive like that. You can see how right here, the tip is kind of hollowed out a bit. Get some good focus on there. So that hollowed out lets like a head of a nail fit in there just a bit better than it does on the TiSpanner 2.0, where you can see it's simply just flat right there. Whereas on this one, you have that slight little groove, which again just gives you a bit better, can get underneath the nail head and get a lot of leverage on it to remove it that way. Of course, that works with staples and so on. I actually demonstrated that when I reviewed the TiSpanner 2.0, where you can get into wood, pull out some staples, and things like that. All right, so that's basically it for the tip of this. Now they said you can use this kind of like a hammer. Of course, I wouldn't want a hammer on titanium. I'm not sure with something this small, what I'd be using it on either. But anyways, I wouldn't even consider that as an option. So this is something new they've added. You have the bit that it holds here on the back, a little magnetic holder for that right there. So my first thought when I saw this flat bit was if you could use a Leatherman bit. But unfortunately, the Leatherman bit is too wide to fit into this groove right here. So they recommend placing this right here on the front. If you look inside, you'll see a small magnet right there. And so they recommend just placing this here, holding that in place with a magnet, tightening it down nice and tight, and then using that for unscrewing things that way. Now I found that it does have a bit of play side to side, which is not very good whenever you're trying to unscrew something, loosen something, tighten something. It doesn't push back and forth. Oops, I almost twisted all the way out there. But it doesn't push back and forth, you can see. Push nice and hard on that. It doesn't push, but it does slide back and forth. So I found that it's more convenient to place it right here, this groove on the back, sliding it at an angle. And then once you get in there again, oops, I loosened it instead of tightening it. So once you get in here, of course, tighten it down, not loosen it. And then from here, it's actually a lot more stable. It doesn't slide back and forth, doesn't push out. And so it should be just enough. Now, once again, any multi-tool is kind of like it's like the jack of all trades. It's the master of none. So this is not going to be your best bit driver, screwdriver in your toolbox. It's simply a multi-tool where it has multiple functions. And so this is not going to be your best option, but just for a demonstration here, it has a T6 Torx on this side and a small Phillips on this side. And so let's try doing this without pushing on it. All right, so just like that, it's enough to where I'm able to start unscrewing that Torx on this knife. And so if you're going to be building some furniture from IKEA, no, don't grab this. This is not what you want. But if you're in a pinch and you need, a small Phillips, for your glasses, or you need a small T6 to take apart, your knife to clean it up, you might have this in your pocket and it might save the day. All right, so moving on from there, nothing that they've added, and I already again mentioned, so of course you have the caliper here in the front. Now, if you don't know how that works, basically you'll see this dot right here, that as you open up the jaws on the crescent wrench, that's going to move this over. It's going to tell you. So let's say 2 centimeters, right? So that is right on the line of 2 centimeters. And so whatever you're measuring, basically you can clamp it down onto it to know the actual dimensions. All right, so clamp down on that. You can see that is what? Almost just slightly over 1 centimeter there. Of course, same thing for the inches, same concept, except the inches are on the top of the caliper. Then what they've done, they added on the back, you have from an M3 all the way up to an M12. And so that's for measuring nuts. And yes, I'm trying to say that with a straight face. And so it's kind of interesting they've added that extra feature. Of course, they did not have that on the TiSpanner 2.0. The back was actually blank. So they've added a bit more here by adding that on the back. And of course, they've added designed by TiSpanner to kind of put their signature on it. All right, we're going to close this up here in the back, or I guess it's the front maybe. You have this nail file, which again, that's, if you need to get rid of something sharp on your nails, it should be nice and abrasive. But what they've done, see if you can see this on the video or not, this is just slightly raised, higher than the rest of the tool. The point of that is for, again, now this is not my recommended way to sharpen a knife, but let's say you're in a pinch and you need to sharpen up your knife, right? And you have no other options with you to sharpen it. You can use this diamond file, and then basically, if you have completely destroyed your blade, and it's dull and you need to put an edge back on it, this will work. I don't recommend sharpening towards your fingers, but just for demonstration, you could basically use that for sharpening your blade. It's an interesting option. Again, keep in mind, it's the jack of all trades, the master of none. It's not going to be your best sharpening option out there, but I think it's cool that they made that option available where you can use that for sharpening your blade. Again, also for if you need to get rid of a snagged nail or things like that. All right, so after that, you also have the glass breaker. We're not going to be demonstrating that today, but I think everyone knows the concept. Get some good grip on that. Gonna make sure that the this little loop on the back's not in the way. And just smash it into some glass, and of course that tungsten tip will break the glass easily. All right, then one of the things that also they have here, again, is kind of a scary thing to do. Put it on your phone, but again, if you have a case and you're not like clamping it down, you can do is you can set this up so it's a phone holder. You can see I have this nice and loose, so it's not like, it's not going to break the glass. It's not going to be doing anything to it. And then basically, depending on where you place this on your phone, it's going to change, how high it sits, and that lets you basically set your phone up that way if you want to view your phone without holding it. So again, it's just an extra little feature that they've added to make the multi-tool have a bit more uses to it. And then again, like I said at the start, it also is an interesting fidget toy. If you're a type of person who likes messing with something in their hands, just tightening it, loosening it, it works once again, it is larger than the TiSpanner 2.0, which maybe fits more into the category of a fidget toy because it actually fits easily, like in the palm of your hand. You know, so you can easily carry this in your pocket. You know, if you are the type of person who likes to rub something or mess something when you're thinking, you're worried, or whatever else, this is the same concept, but once again, just slightly larger. All right, so that is basically it for the TiSpanner 3.0. It's the same thing, it's bigger, it's better, it's got a couple more upgrades to it. Several things they thought out really well. Once again, I love titanium, and TiSpanner seems to be the company that is expanding on some very interesting multi-tool ideas. Again, if you've not seen these over here, you can go back and watch some of my previous videos where I review these. They definitely come up with some very interesting ideas. So talking about pricing now, this is available right now on Kickstarter. So they will be shipping these out in May. But right now is a great time to pick it up because if you've used Kickstarter before, you probably know they have different like packages. And so they have like the early bird and things like that. And so the first 200 sets that they sell, they're going to be selling for $95. And so you can pick that up. Again, depending on when you're watching this video, that package may be no longer available. But after that, they have like the early bird for $105. The MSRP they're saying is $170. But once again, once they release it, the price may be actually be lower. But again, we'll just see once they end up releasing this on their website. So anyways, let me know your thoughts about the TiSpanner 3.0. It's definitely an interesting tool. I like that it's larger. That's the main thing I like, is seeing that it's larger, a lot more use to it. It's definitely a novelty multi-tool. You're not going to be seeing all kinds of people carrying this in their pocket. And so you wanted something for, you know, if you just wanted like a flex, kind of to show you have something interesting, something unique. Definitely a very interesting tool. But let me know in the comments your thoughts about that. If it's something you can see yourself picking up. And if you are interested, I will have links down in the description of the video. So pick that up while they are still in a nice, good, basically discount. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.